I feel like delicata goes really good. I feel like delicata goes... Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today's video I am super excited about. Today I'm actually doing a collaboration with Jenn Clayton. So I've done one with her in the past. She is awesome. If you guys don't know who she is, I will go ahead and pop her YouTube up on the screen really quickly. She also makes YouTube content around weight loss and just lifestyle and weight loss maintenance. She's actually lost 140 pounds and maintained it, and she just shares a bunch of helpful tips and foods and recipes, snacks, and everything on her channel. So I will link her channel below. She's also on Instagram if you want to check out her Instagram. She's got tons of really positive and inspiring content. I think she's awesome, and I'm so excited to be collaborating with her again. We did a collaboration about a year ago this time, and we shared some of her favorite sweet and salty snacks. So today we're doing something similar, but we're actually going to be doing some recipes. So we're both going to be sharing some higher protein recipes that are sweet and savory, and today my video is going to be the savory side of things. So if you enjoy this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and check out Jenn's page after you finish watching this. Subscribe to her channel, give her a follow on Instagram. She really is awesome, and she's got some awesome content that I think is super helpful. Anyway, we're going to be sharing two recipes that we enjoy that are higher protein fall recipes. I'm going to be sharing the WW points for both recipes. Jenn is as well. She also follows WW but uses calories and macros as well, kind of how I do, to continue to maintain our weight losses. So anyway, we'll be sharing the information with the recipes. We will have the recipes in the description below, so be sure to check those out, and I will have links to all of our pages, so be sure to check out Jenn's page like I said, and I'll have links to my site and my pages as well. So be sure to check the description box for everything and the recipes, and let's go ahead and get started. So for my savory snack today, I'm so excited for this because when fall comes around, it means delicata squash, and we love delicata. So what I'm making today works really well as a side. We like to have it when we have burgers, or it just works as a good appetizer. But what we're doing is some panko parmesan crusted delicata squash rings. So what I'm gonna do is just cut this open, scoop the insides out. We're gonna slice it into rings, so it's gonna kind of look like onion rings. And then all I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna have an egg wash that I'm gonna dip them in. And then next to that, I'm going to have a container with some panko breadcrumbs, some Parmesan cheese, which actually I usually like to use grated Parmesan, but I don't have any. So I just had this shredded Parmesan in the fridge, and I'm just gonna chop it up into smaller pieces. It'll still work, but it isn't the same. I do prefer to use the grated Parmesan, but just what I have, and it still works. I'm also gonna add a little bit of garlic salt, some roasted garlic and herb seasoning, and then also some garlic and herb seasoning. So these two are different, but they're really good together, and I'm gonna be adding those to the panko to add the seasoning. So that's super simple. You can either throw them in the air fryer or the oven, but I think I'm just gonna use the oven because I'm already gonna have it preheated. So the first thing I did was cut the delicata squash in half, and then I just used a grapefruit spoon to scoop out the insides. And it's definitely helpful to have a sharper knife when you're cutting the delicata squash because it is a little bit harder to cut through. So some of the rings I couldn't make. I just cut the squash in half and made it a half ring. That works just as well. Then I just got two bowls, and in one of them I cracked 2 eggs and added some salt and pepper, and then the other bowl I added 3/4 cup of panko breadcrumbs, 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then the different seasonings that I'm using. Then all you do is take the delicata ring, dip it in the egg mixture and get it coated, and then dip it over in the panko breadcrumbs. I try to use one hand for the egg and one hand for the breadcrumbs so it doesn't make such a mess. Then I just placed the delicata rings on a baking sheet that has parchment paper, and then I put them in the oven at 425 for 20 to 25 minutes, and I usually flip them halfway. Okay, so the delicata squash is out of the oven, and now I'm actually gonna go ahead and make a dip for it. Technically, the squash itself isn't very high in protein. It's only a couple grams of protein for the actual delicata. The panko adds a few more grams of protein and then the egg, but it's really not much. So what I like to do is dip it in some Greek yogurt dip that I'm gonna make. So I use about a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. So I have a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt here. It's just non-fat Chobani, the same one that I used for the 2-ingredient dough. And this is 5 grams of protein. So if I have this with the delicata, it adds a good amount. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of garlic salt to this. And then I'm also going to add some ranch seasoning blend. And I just got this from Trader Joe's. It is really good on popcorn, but I also like to use it to make little dips like this. So I have that in there, and I'm just gonna whisk it together. And then I kind of want it to be a little bit more like a runny ranch. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of cashew milk. It's just the silk unsweetened, and it is 0 points just for a little bit. So I'm gonna mix that in there. And that way it just makes it a little bit more runny and more like a ranch dip consistency, I'd say. Okay, so let's go ahead and try the delicata squash. If you have trouble cutting it like I was, because this one was actually a really big, it was like a wide delicata squash. Sometimes they're a lot more narrow. So if that's the case, you can cut them in half like I did and make them into like Parmesan crusted delicata fries, or you can have the rings like this. I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite of this ring. I've got my ranch sauce right here, and let's see. The ranch seasoning is so good with it, with the Parmesan crust on it, and the panko is perfectly crispy. I love delicata so much, and it's 0 points, so good. So you can get creative with this recipe. You can mix up the seasonings you use or the dip that you use. Sometimes I like to make like a taco season dip with it. I feel like delicata goes really good with that type of flavor. So anyway, that wraps it up for this. When I track it for points, it just depends on how many slices I eat with the panko breadcrumbs, or like how many I get out of it. Because this was such a bigger squash, I had to use more panko breadcrumbs, which made it higher point, but I got more servings. So this is about 1 point with the amount of panko and Parmesan on it. So it just depends how many you have and how many you get out of the batch. And then the dressing is actually 0 because it's just the yogurt and the cashew milk. So like I said, you can mix it up with the seasonings that you use, but I hope you guys enjoy this recipe.
For my savory recipe, I am making chicken and dumpling soup, and we are going to pack this with protein. So let me show you what you'll need. First, you're going to need baking soda, milk of your choice. I'm using Fairlife because it's 13 grams of protein per cup. So any way I can get in some extra protein, I will do it, and Fairlife is just an easy swap for almond milk or other milks. And then another swap I do is swap out chicken broth with bone broth. That way I'm able to get in some extra protein as well. I'm going to use my protein flour. Don't forget, I will put the recipe on how to make your own down below for you. You'll need some salt and pepper, thyme, bay leaves, a yellow onion, carrots, celery, and then of course chicken. I have the pre-cooked, pre-shredded white meat chicken from Sprouts. You can also cook your own chicken breast and shred it yourself. So to get started on our soup, I have a stock pot sprayed with nonstick cooking spray. I have it over medium heat. I did dice up that small onion, so I'm going to add that. And then my diced up celery and carrots. And I'm going to let this cook until the vegetables have softened. So I'm going to make our dumplings so that we can set these aside and add them to our soup. So the first thing I'm adding is 1.5 cups of my protein flour, 3/4 of a cup of Fairlife, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. This is a full teaspoon, so I'm going to do half. And then a pinch of salt. And then stir that together to create a dough. Now we're going to roll our dough into balls. We're shooting for 18 to 24 of the dumplings, but it really doesn't matter how many you get. We're going to divide the whole soup out by servings, so go ahead and roll it into as many dumplings as you can get. While these are softening, they're probably 75% done. I'm going to add in some salt and pepper, some thyme, and a couple of bay leaves. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my 4 cups or the entire box of my bone broth, and then 4 cups of water. And then I'm going to add in my shredded chicken. We're going to allow this to come to a boil and simmer on the stove for about 10 minutes. Once this is simmered for about 10 minutes, here are my dumplings. I'm going to drop those in one by one and allow it to continue to simmer for another 5 to 7 minutes or until the dumplings are cooked through. And the last step is remove your bay leaves and add half of a cup of milk. Stir that and again, allow it to simmer for a couple more minutes. So the chicken and dumpling soup is done. Let me go ahead and turn off the heat. Look how good this looks with the carrots, the celery, tons of chicken. And then we even added extra protein by using the Fairlife milk and protein flour for the dumplings. So this is going to be so perfect for a crisp fall evening. I will go ahead and put points, calories, macros, and serving size here on the screen for you.
Okay, so that wraps it up for our video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you try out the recipes and enjoy them as well. It is definitely fall, and one of my favorite things about fall is the food, especially the apples and the delicata squash. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give Jen a follow as well. I will link her pages in the description like I mentioned. Check out her YouTube and her Instagram. She's got some awesome, super helpful content. So be sure to give her a follow. Thank you guys as always for watching. I really appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and I will see you guys next time.